Greetings and welcome back everyone. I took a bit of a hiatus on my videos to let the market celebrate and celebrate my birthday. I'm Crypto Snake, back again to bring you some Bitcoin analysis. So obviously the big thing in this video is the great crypto crash of 2018. This month has been an absolute roller coaster. November is normally the month where we start getting into the bull run. Several people in the market, including myself, calling for a bull run. Instead of starting the bull run and sticking with this logarithmic trend line, we actually dropped to the lowest point Bitcoin has ever been in over an entire year. Last November, we saw prices of about 6,100. So just starting out on the weekly chart, we can see a nice head formation forming here, a double X crossover. We do have a long-legged human, potentially with some arms here. And yeah, just to finish off the portfolio, nice little noose formed out of this nice little drop. And that's your portfolio. All right, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, on the weekly chart, down on the RSI, we are starting to hit the 30 level, which is the very bottom of the RSI range. Normally in a bear trend, this RSI does need to strike through a bit before we actually have a rebound, but we are seeing a bit of support as we are testing this 30, and we're also sitting on the 3,500 or so support line. Now you're probably wondering if we're going to rebound forcefully from this position. Let me just clear out these. The fact that we've been trending on this support line without a violent break up means that we're more likely to break back down below the 30. Now when we break below this 30 RSI, we're very likely to start rising violently from the weekly chart. Now if we take a look back in Bitcoin's history, these bull runs do tend to start with one last crash to decimate everyone's morale, letting the price get down to an accessible price point for people to scoop it up before rocketing back up with some violent force. As for my bullish perspective though, I believe the bull run has been delayed, and a pump from this location won't see us skyrocketing back up to the 6,200 level just yet, but rather a slow gradual incline after impeding the bearish pressure. And even with my bullish perspective right now, I still believe that we are going to come down and possibly test these other support lines. That will either be another dip down to the 3080 support level or completing this bear flag formation. If we continue to side trend for a couple weeks, we might see a bear flag formation forming here, crossing over here, getting a small little pump before dropping down to the 2000 or so support line. So that's my bullish perspective from here. That's obviously not a very bullish perspective for a bullish perspective, but if we do hit this support line, I am expecting a very violent break back up, possibly up to the 5,000 level before continuing up from there. Now let's talk doom and gloom bearish perspective though. There's a lot of talk in the crypto space right now that this is the beginning of the second wave of the bear trend. Now this doesn't fit with the overall market cycle that I've been outlining and following for the previous several videos. But assuming this is true, we would see a violent pump up from this, somewhere around the 5,600 level. This would be a bull trap. Now this would obviously be followed by another dump back down, followed by another pump, and then another dump, and then another pump, and then a dump, and then we'll probably settle around here somewhere around the 1,500 level. And this is an absolute bearish perspective. It really doesn't make sense for the overall market cycle to do this again, but I am laying out that this is a potential possibility. Now, if Bitcoin starts getting down to this 1,800 level, 1,000 levels, sitting around this area, you can guarantee there will not be a lot of hype with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin doesn't start moving bullish and start posting a little bit higher highs, the actual likeliness of it rebounding will start to diminish. Now, I don't see a price level of 1,800 or below down to 1,000 even being in the realm of possibility right now, especially not with all the bullish news that is coming out for Bitcoin, which I will cover later in the video. But the further it falls, the less it will pump in the short term. So short term, I am bearish for a drop down to either the 2000 support line or the 3,200, 3,100 or so support line before coming back up violently. So before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakepit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptoSnakeVIP to get regular updates. And the Gains Fairy is back this month, giving us some consistent gains for November, not as much as we're used to, but I have adapted my strategy in this volatile area to keep my portfolio consistently growing. I also give out hot altcoin swing positions every week. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. Now going down to the Bitcoin daily chart, we can take a look at the RSI, which is now down at the 17 or 18 level, which is heavily oversold from the 30 level RSI. So far, Bitcoin has not been respecting this RSI level. We've been down below this level for quite a while, which is why I referred earlier in the video to the weekly RSI. As for the Ichimoku system, the daily Kijun-sen has started to descend. It was plateauing for a little while here, but it is starting to move down. This is technically bearish, but with such a price separation here, we may see a potential bull trap form to pull the price back up to the 4,400 level short term. As this Kijun-sen continues to descend, we may see a price strike of that if it starts to plateau again. The Chikou span is well below the price and is starting to see a bit of support here around the 3,700, where the price has been holding for about 4 days. The daily SAR, or stop and reverse indicator, is still moving in a bearish pattern, meaning that the momentum is still very much bearish. And I wouldn't expect a massive pump not until this SAR indicator flips or we start pressuring this SAR dot somewhere around the 43.50 level. Tomorrow that'll probably be down around the 42.30, etc., going down as we continue through. Moving down to the 4-hour chart, we see that the 4-hour Kijun-sen is also descending, indicating a further price decrease. This may strike us through this support line of the 35.60 for a massive dump moving forwards. The Chikou span, again, on the 4-hour has found some support around this 36.40 level. Now, earlier this week, we did have a fake out on the 4-hour Kijun-sen TK crossover here, which resulted in a massive drop. With the Kijun-sen being so separated from the Tenkan-sen here, I see no indication of us going for a pump to test this cloud, as this cloud is still also descending, so the bearish momentum will very likely continue. Now, as for Bitcoin's overall market cap, we're sitting at $122 billion. That means we lost $90 billion out of the Bitcoin space, almost half of the value in the crypto space in under a week. That is absolutely mind-boggling to think about. Now, as for the altcoin market, it also got absolutely slaughtered. Some interesting developments here, of course, is that Ripple did surpass Ethereum. This normally does happen on a dump, but it's definitely some bad news for Ethereum right now. Most altcoins dropped around 20%, 20-30% on the way down. And if you didn't tether by this point, I personally would just hold. The altcoin market will recover, it always does, and very likely on the next big savage pump, when the FOMO kicks in, these prices will start pumping up very heavily. Ethereum right now is sitting at $106. Absolutely savage drop there from Ethereum. If you have fiat on the side, I personally would be scooping that up like candy. And the Bitcoin market cap has stayed relatively consistent within this 50% plus range. Ripple actually did start climbing on the overall market cap, rising up to about 12%, up from 8%, so almost a 33% increase. Now, as for Bitcoin shorts, which is the measurement of people betting against the market or that Bitcoin will fall, Bitcoin shorts are very, very near to the all-time high around the 40,000 level. We're currently sitting at about 35,000. On the RSI, the daily is very close to where we broke down previously. However, it's not very close to 70. We still have some room to grow there on the daily. On the 4-hour chart, it has consistently broken this 4-hour and broken down slightly for a slight pump, but it has been doing this on the entire way down. So I'm expecting another fake out on this position as well before executing a final short squeeze to pump us out of this bear trend. Now, switching over to Bitcoin longs, which is the opposite, the betting that Bitcoin will go up or the price will increase. And the reason that I'm not currently bullish for a massive pump from here is that Bitcoin longs are also overextended. On the 4-hour, it is breaking the 70, indicating that a potential long squeeze could execute first, or they may cancel each other out. Now, one thing to note about Bitcoin longs is that it is equally overextended as the Bitcoin shorts. It still has plenty of room to grow to get to that all-time high, which is why I believe we will see a pump following the dump. But it has also consistently come up to test the 70 level on the RSI and broken down with force. On the 4-hour, we are nearing an overextension of the 70 RSI, or relative strength index, on the longs, indicating that we may see a drop coming shortly if we can break through this resistance level at around 29,000. Now, what this might look like on the 4-hour chart would be a come up to test the Tenkan-sen up here before meeting some resistance and executing that long squeeze before dropping down further through this previous support level. Now, the reason that we've been side trending around this area as well is that the market really does want to recover, but the problem is that Rambling Gambling Jimmy keeps jumping back in with 100x longs and just getting liquidated, which causes these massive spikes back down again. So we are going to continue side trending in here and have to drop a little bit further before we can actually pump out of this area. So now onto the news, some more Tether news, of course. Tether says customers can once again deposit and redeem fiat. Following the whole Tether FUD that's been going on, Tether crashing the market, Tether has now opened up Tether to direct to fiat transfers. Now this should add a lot more stability to Tether, and also it's very nice to get into the market quickly with Tether and then open up into position, trading on markets like Binance or Bitfinex. Now a slightly bearish, kind of neutral, almost even bullish article here. Bitcoin likely to close below key price support in first since 2015. They analyze the EMA, the estimated moving average. I personally don't prefer to use the estimated moving average because it's not a very good targeted or precise indicator. However, what they're saying here is for the first time in several years, we have broken down below this 21-month EMA or estimated moving average, and we have breached it. The last time we breached this, the momentum shifted and moved into a more bullish momentum to break us out into the bull run. So this could very well be the start of the bull run as I've been laying out. Now some more bullish news overall for the space. NASDAQ is still planning, despite this gigantic drop, Bitcoin futures launched in 2019. Now, if you don't know what this is, the NASDAQ is essentially going to be putting more money into the crypto space and opening up these ETFs or contracts such as leverage trading, which will put a lot more liquidity and money into the space. However, it will also open it up to more bot manipulation. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, but still overall bullish news for adoption. Some more news on the Bitcoin ETF, definitely possible, says the SEC commissioner. Now this interview is with Hester Peirce, so it's a little bit biased. She's the pro-Bitcoin SEC commissioner. She's saying that it is very likely that we will see a Bitcoin ETF. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you know how I feel about the ETF. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. But again, more bullish news for the space. SEC might be confirmed. NASDAQ futures are still set to launch. And here's another very bullish adoption story. Now, what's interesting to note with this is how taxes actually apply to cryptocurrency in general, but that they're allowing you to pay your taxes. So Ohio basically becomes the first state to allow taxes to be paid in Bitcoin. Hopefully this puts some incentive for some improved tax regulations on cryptocurrency, as you do have to withdraw, but if you're not withdrawing to pay these taxes on the cryptocurrency, how exactly does that work? It's an interesting question, interesting story. Definitely looking forward to more states becoming more friendly to cryptocurrency, but only time will tell. Now, before I wrap this video up, I'll just give a little bit of a recap. I do believe we will break this support level around the 3,500. There's a slight possibility that we will see a bull trap form up to 4,500 or so before then, but more likely we will break this and come down to test the support level at 3,100. If this support level holds, we will see a good bullish pump from here, moving back up into a bull trend. However, if the bearish momentum is heavy enough, we will smash directly through this support line and move down to the 2,000 level. There's relatively no support in this range, so if we fall through this 3,100 level support, we're very likely to see that 2,000. But just one thing I want to say to you guys, if you are absolutely burned in this market, if you've been absolutely destroyed, decimated, and you absolutely hate crypto right now, keep one thing in mind. When others are greedy, be fearful. When others are fearful, be greedy. This is the time to enter the market when it is down, not when it's up. You don't want to enter up on one of these pumps. When it is at its absolute lowest, that's when you want to enter. Even if you enter early, if you enter around here, just hold it. Just hold it until next year. Hold it for next month or so. I guarantee the outlook on the crypto space will look different in December, in January. The crypto space is very volatile. It can shoot up very, very quickly. It could also shoot down very, very quickly. But a month in crypto time is practically an eternity. Take a look back here. April, okay, we're at a bottom. And next month, all right, beginning of May, we're all the way up at the top. Down at the bottom again, June, and then back up through July. We are just now getting to the end of November. Normally these pumps and dumps last about a month, up and down. So if you don't start picking up some cryptocurrency around this, you're probably going to be kicking yourself when the price starts skyrocketing back up. Even if it pumps back up to 5,000, you're still looking at about a 56% gain back up to that level. So even if you're jaded, don't give up on the crypto space. Take advantage of people's fear and become an absolute savage in this market. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakepit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is Crypto Snake, signing off.